The Sports Betting Channel presents To Be Determined. Our new show starts at 8 o'clock out here in San Diego, 11 o'clock in New York, and then we're done just in time for the first game kickoffs for college football. You're going to get 4 totally different slices of sports. Blackhawk West joins us for Saturdays in Canada and some plays for the CFL game. What do you do when the easy sports data is trending in opposite directions? Well, Mo's going to help us decide what to do on Something's Gotta Give. There's also Paulo's plays. Now, if you're not betting soccer, you really should be. And this guy is very, very good. Finally, there's Wake and Bake, where sports betting meets marijuana. Hey, the games start early here in Southern California. Now, 9 o'clock's a lot easier when marijuana is legal. It's like having 4 shows in one. Check it out Saturday, August 28th on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, and on the Sports Betting Channel.
I absolutely love that.
I was just about to say, the Wake and Bake. What have I been doing wrong all these years?
First time I heard that, CJ's playing it, and I'm backstage, and I'm like, I'm going through some sharing and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm looking at my other monitor, and I hear that Wake and Bake, and I'm like, what?
now that you've got my attention, right?
Correct. Okay. Welcome to Weapons Hot, everybody.
That's what's up.
CJ is not feeling well today, so me and Kevin are going to be taking the reins.
That's what's good. And, so we're going to allow CJ to rest, and big ups to CJ, fam. You guys already know CJ is the guy, and without him, really none of this is as much fun. But me and Jimmy, we about to turn it up tonight, so
absolutely,
let's get it up. What do we do?
Well, we are talking week 4. This is I haven't been able to be on. I missed last week, guys. Just so everybody's aware, I am still alive. I promise. Not gonna lie, last week was kind of a close call, but we're good. We're fine.
I'm glad you're back. And I also, I guys, realistically, we'd like to be here every single week, but I have a mentorship program that I am one of the leads for, and I had a situation with a young man last week, and I had to be out. So, unfortunately, stuff like that happens. Life happens, but missed you guys. Real talk, and I'm excited about coming back and being able to get back in. Really ugly week last week in Denver. I know we're probably going to get into a few different things here. I'll just be honest. I only watched the game once. I couldn't take it to watch it again. Usually we watch it a few times before we come back in, but couldn't do it with that one. It just I wanted to put it behind us. 26-0 to Denver. Zach Wilson had a couple of things that looked good, but the remainder of everything else was really kind of difficult. The defense, which has been a bright spot so far, had again a couple of flashes, and I'm sure we'll get to the details on that. But I mean, still, what are we, top 15, borderline top 10 defense still?
Yeah, and the corner room is actually in the top 5.
We talked about it, bro. We talked about it, and look, I'm gonna give you your props while we're here, because I think you were probably the one who was the most full-throatedly, kind of behind these guys. I had some questions initially, but I'll just be honest. When
I did too.
Yeah, well, when they said that they were going to run with him, I thought, we've seen what Saleh can do with limited resources, and these guys, I wouldn't say they're limited resources; they were just unknown. Mm-hmm. And these guys have been kicking ass. I'm really excited for what that room is going to look like going forward.
What really upsets me though is people don't understand the stats. Like our corner room has not allowed a touchdown through the air.
Think about it, right? Air traffic control,
and the secondary. And the secondary as a whole has only allowed 1 in 3 games.
Yeah.
1. That's absolutely insane. So, but people will see, this is the part that pisses me off, is people will hear that stat, and the ones they'll see a missed tackle by Eccles or Hall, or they'll see Hall playing soft, and the guy will catch the ball. Hall's only given up 50 yards off of 11 catches.
I'm telling you, look, what it is that we expected was that the coaching staff was going to be able to take uber talented young players and basically unleash them to do what it is that they do, and it's worked, right? I mean, for all of the negative, for all of the the points that have been scored and all the other stuff, um, these guys have held solid. I mean, Eccles, obviously we're going to talk about Michael Carter because I think Michael Carter was what was ranked number one.
Top rookie.
So yeah, I mean, think about that, and then again, the way that they've been able to kind of work in tandem with the veteran safeties. I look, I'm excited, man. And to have two corners on the show really sitting here saying that this is kind of something that not only we are excited to see, but the expectation is that they're just going to get better, right? So I mean, it may not be Revis Cromartie, right? But Revis and Cromartie, did their stats look similar, right? There wasn't many touchdowns getting scored on those guys either. So I think we're in good shape, at least in that. The linebackers and that's obviously another question. And with the injury, quote unquote, the injury to Marcus May, we obviously still have some question marks. And I don't think this is the week to see them give up a touchdown at this point. But if you're talking about Derrick Henry maybe running one in, I can't be mad at that either.
No, man, I have Derrick Henry on one of my fantasy leagues, so
how could you not?
This is a hard week. Of course, how can you not? I mean, if he's there, especially if you're picking fifth in your league and Derrick Henry's on the board, you take him
immediately. that guy's a walk-in touchdown. Like, Jesus, I think he's running people over in the lobby at the hotel.
I murdered that fantasy draft. Kind of a side tangent here, Kev.
Yeah.
I have the top. Do you know off the top of your head who the top two rushers are in the NFL right now?
Ooh, you know what? I want to say that they're unknown guys because the main guys really haven't.
Nope.
No, I cannot say. Who?
Number one is Derrick Henry. Number two is Joe Mixon.
Is it Joe Mixon?
It is Joe Mixon.
I love Joe Mixon. I drafted him as a rookie. And he's on my brother's fantasy.
That league I have Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I also have Joe Mixon.
Eat, man. Eat.
Dude. And then my other league I have James Robinson who killed it for me last week. Okay, I need to do a fantasy show on my channel.
As you can tell, I haven't joined in fantasy this year, but Team Smash Mouth will probably be making its reoccurrence next season when I have a little bit more time.
Definitely. If you got a league that has a couple spots,
absolutely. Okay. So as we begin, right? Look, where are we going to start? I mean, we've kind of got some free reign tonight, right?
Well, I guess we can kind of. There's not really a whole lot to say about last week, is there? I mean, there wasn't. Defense did what they were supposed to do, but you can't keep asking a defense to make, 35 stops a game. Yeah. That's just. You can't
ask your defense to play 75% of the time, right?
Correct.
And even more than that if you really kind of, if you want to keep it in perspective. But the positives, right? And it's difficult to say. Well, I mean, there are some still.
Sure.
And it's difficult to say that we're going to point to a whole bunch of them, but I'm just going to say this: I still feel really confident about what Zach Wilson is going to be able to do, because even under duress, there you go. We've seen him make some plays. We've seen him do things. We've just seen the rest of the team let him down. And I've got my, I got my Elijah Moore jersey on today. Excuse me. But he, I'll be honest. I'm not really satisfied with the way that they've been using him. And I know we're going to get into the Denzel Mims conversation going forward. But to be honest with you, I am still a little uncertain as to what Mike LaFleur is doing with this offense. And it scares me because we spent a lot of time early in the season, preseason, all of that, talking about the weapons that we have available and what it is that our expectations were for how it is that it was going to play out. And I think that what we underestimated was the rookie coaches, right? We talked about how coaching was better, how coaching was going to be, an X factor in how it is that we saw the improvements. But to be honest with you, I think most of the difficulties that we have seen at this point, notwithstanding the horrible play at center and right guard, but it have been with the coaching staff.
I commented, somebody said on Twitter about how Zach Wilson looked so bad or this or that, and I had to comment on that, and I said that everything that's been happening, I'm not saying Wilson's been perfect and nothing is on him. I'm more than happy to lay blame where it belongs. He has kind of made some forced decisions and some bad calls. But a lot of it is game plan, and it's the cast around him that have been screwing up. We need to talk about the fact that over the course of this whole season, 35% of his on-target clean pocket throws have been dropped.
Yeah.
35%.
Horrible.
His adjusted stats, this is the key for all the people that are jumping ship on Zach Wilson. It's way too early, by the way.
How dare you? I mean, come on. Seriously?
It's all over it's all over the groups. They're
sick of it.
They're damn lucky I'm banned on Facebook right now. Otherwise, I'd be ripping these people apart.
We'd be banned again. Find something to get banned about every day. Look, there's
adjusted stats though. Stats, real quick, Kevin.
Yeah.
His adjusted completion percentage, when you factor in the drops, is 68.7%.
Come on, man. What more could you ask for, right? What more could you ask for? And we're not talking about Mac Jones 68% where it's 2 and 3 yards, right?
God, did you see that picture of Mac Jones?
No, I try not to pay attention.
He tries to throw the ball, but then he's like, when the defender's coming at him, he's literally there's a picture of him.
I'm gonna have to look it up now. And Mac Jones doesn't impress me.
No.
It's something that everybody's talking about. Oh yeah, we're gonna rank the rookie quarterbacks, and I'll give it. Trevor Lawrence actually looked good for the first half last night against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed that the kid's capable, but I'm not really high on him either. I can't necessarily say that I've seen a lot out of Zach to say that I'm higher, but I paid more attention to Zach, and what it is that I have seen shows me some ability that I don't think I've seen in anyone else. Justin Fields is going to get his brains beat out if he plays another game there. If anybody watched that first start for him, it was brutal.
He's got so many defenses. The kid needed to keep his mouth shut first and foremost. Okay, you don't come in never playing an NFL game and saying the game speed isn't as fast as you thought it was, or you don't get crushed by an edge rusher and then say, it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
You're going to get targeted now. Everybody is going to come after you, and
you can
just hush.
Yeah,
what you needed to do.
You can be super talented and still be an asshole, right? So excuse me, but it's kind of see Jeff George, right?
You can also be super talented and bust out if you're.
Yes, you can. Yes,
not calling it like that yet. I'm just saying he's got an uphill battle.
Exactly. Well, listen, going forward, I still think, and I've listened to the coaches talk about when it clicks for Zach, right? I think at this point in time, the breakdowns that we've seen surrounding him are making it difficult for us to say that it's going to click at all. If we had competent protection, and that also goes to the running backs because Ty Johnson was horrible in pass protection last week. I think we actually would be able to recognize a little bit more about why so many of us were excited about him coming in. And again, my expectations are a little tempered even more now, just because of how bad we've actually seen some of the peripheral stuff be.
I don't think I've changed as far as my expectations because I know what this kid's capable of, and I know what this offense can do when they can actually put it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I don't necessarily think that we're in panic mode just yet. I mean, obviously, I don't think there is a panic mode this season.
No.
But I think we'll step it up, and hopefully we start putting it together. I guess that's.
I want to say this, and I had this conversation the other day, and for all the folks that are joining us, thank you for being here with us. Obviously, we appreciate the love, we appreciate the support. If you got questions or what have you, please drop them, and we'll try to do what it is that we can to interact. I mean, it's difficult with the StreamYard, but I'll just say this: I think as a fan base, this was a test for us early, because we have some of the hardest games early, right? And it's gonna ease up a little bit, but we did have the growing pains. We have I don't want to call it a bump in the road. I want to call it like a mountain that we had to go around because it was difficult. Like it was really, really bad at times. But the fact of the matter is that towards the end of the season, when we start to get a little bit more continuity, when we start to feel a little more comfortable in our own skin, so to speak, we're going to have competition that doesn't maybe match up to what it is that we've already faced. And I think that we may end up having the end of the season kind of give us that same kind of hope and inspiration that we got after we saw Sam run, what was it, that the 6-game win streak. So
Yeah.
we still, and I know I'm probably going to get some guff about this, but we still don't have a quarterback to match what Geno Smith did in his rookie year with 8-8 season. If we can get something similar to that, I think we'd be okay.
I think they'll just, like I said, I think they'll start putting it together, and then just as it goes on, you'll just see the stats start to increase, and everything's going to be fine. This isn't Madden.
Yeah,
These guys aren't going to come out with a specific numerical rating and play to that level out of the gate. So
it just doesn't happen that way. And if anybody saw that clip, Mark Sanchez, did you see that, Jim? When he was on the show talking about rookies starting right away. I think Emmanuel Acho tweeted it out. But Mark Sanchez basically said in the clip, and folks, you might have seen this, but he said that after that season, the idea of sitting a rookie quarterback and allowing him to learn from the sideline just kind of went out the window. And it was, oddly enough, I thought the take was spot on. And if you haven't seen it, I would say go take a look at it, because I think for all of the drama that we've given Mark Sanchez over the years here, that was an extremely intelligent point that he made, and I think it actually bears out to be true.
I agree, and I also think that because of how the situation is being handled in San Francisco, I think Trey Lance is going to come out when it's his time, and he is going to demolish competition.
I said this before, I say it again. I love Zach. Trey was my guy, man. Trey was the guy that I honestly do believe that when it's all said and done, he is going to be, the top of this class. With Zach, maybe a really close second, depending upon if Joe Douglas can pull his head out of his tuchus and we can get it moving here.
Well, like I said, I said pre-draft that I like Trey Lance. I just like Trey Lance in 2020.
Later, yeah, not now.
I didn't want Trey Lance in 2021, and we just weren't in the position to draft him. 17 games from D2. Jets were going to draft somebody that needed to play now.
Yeah,
and that was obvious from the jump.
He's not ready. He's not ready.
So,
but the fact of the matter is that I think he actually went to the best situation for him.
Definitely.
If we, even so much as that, and I know people have been kicking around veteran quarterbacks, but Joe Flacco, think about having Flacco here and having him be able to kind of spell Zach for a little bit, or even Josh Johnson for all that matter. What the hell is Mike White still doing on the roster? If
it were up to me, so my take on signing a vet quarterback at this particular moment has always been, I don't want a high dollar rental who thinks he's going to be the guy moving forward. And I just don't want to waste the cap space. I don't want to waste, the time and effort for something like that. Now, if we were to have added another year to Flacco last season, and if that were to have happened, I would have been more than happy to have Joe Flacco start every game this year.
Absolutely.
And let Zach sit, let Zach, jump in every now and then, take a few series here and there.
Like Trey does right now. Or maybe even a little more, because I think, again, to your point, Zach was a little more, pro ready at the time. And I think, giving him, a little bit more than garbage time at the end of games would have given us an opportunity to kind of build some confidence in him without, having him stand at the podium after every game and talk about how he needs to get better.
But see, having Flacco coming back for year 2 would have already had the statement that I'm the vet on this team. Yeah. You're the future. I'm the now, and I'm okay with that. But I'll tell you, what needs to happen is this coaching staff needs to add somebody to the quarterback staff.
I agree.
And I'm thinking it's going to happen next year. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Chad Pennington's son, Chad Pennington's son did commit to Marshall, so Chad's no longer going to be coaching. So 2022, I know Chad has expressed interest in coming back to One Jets Drive and working with the staff. So depending on what capacity, I would love to see him working with quarterbacks, obviously quarterbacks. But
in a perfect world, Chad Pennington sitting down next to Zach in a quarterback room when Zach actually gets it and has protection. I think that is a step above what it is that we saw McCown do for Sam Darnold. And I think that understanding the differences in the talent between Zach and Sam, I think it actually provides a better finished product for us. That if that happens, I don't know, man. It may be worth all of the drama and impatience that we're dealing with right now, because I think that could be special.
And who better
than Chad?
What better quarterback in the modern era with the media? Okay, back in like Namath's day, the media was there, but it wasn't like it is today. But who better to talk to these young quarterbacks in New York than Chad Pennington?
Yeah, man.
Chad Pennington, it was a little bit before social media and stuff really took off, but at the same time, the Sharks could smell blood in the water in New York media.
Yeah.
And that was a hard time to deal, back in Pennington's day. So I think he would be perfect.
Chad is beloved by this fan base, beloved by this media. Notwithstanding the injuries, he probably could have gone down as one of the better long-term quarterbacks that we had here. And I mean, still his completion percentage, I think, still ranks top 2 or 3 in the league history, right? Come on, man. Look, just for the sake of really kind of seeing Zach turn the corner and turn it at a pretty good clip, I think Chad's a great option to be able to drop him in. I'm excited about that. Hopefully that happens. I
agree, man. I think so. To move into what banner has been up here for you guys for the last 20 minutes, I'm a terrible host.
No, come on now. We're good today. We're good today. We're gonna make this work.
But let's talk a little bit about Jets Titans, and let's actually think, what are the 3 keys to a Jets victory? It's going to be tough. Fortunately, the fortunate thing is our defense has been a bright spot, because that's going to be necessary, and they're going to have to take a lot of the workload once again. But what do you think, Kev? What do you think are the top 3 keys to a victory?
You know what? First and foremost, LaFleur has to get himself together, right? But I think that this is a perfect opportunity to do that. We're actually not going to be going up against the top 5 defense, which is what we have been these first 3 weeks. Not saying that we don't need to execute, because it's going to be that much easier. But the reality is that, it kind of is at least going to decrease the level of difficulty in execution this week. And I think that if we can, again, solidify some of the things that we know that we have done well, and there are only a few at this point, but we can, minimize turnovers, minimize that middle pressure, then I think we'll be in good shape. Kind of tie into the 1A or 1B, however you want to call it. I think we need to run the ball. I believe that Tennessee gives us the opportunity to be able to maybe focus on that, right? If we can see Zach not have to throw 30 some odd times in the game, I think that actually bodes well for him. And I think that puts us in a position where we can control field position, we can control time of possession, and we can actually put some points up on the board. I guess I'll just move to 3. And I think what needs to happen is that we need to see what has, over the course of the past few years being the strength of our defense. We need that run defense to step up this week, because I don't believe that Tannehill can beat us by himself. No. I think that he requires Derrick Henry to be a beast, and usually he is, but he is not superhuman. And we have proven that regardless of who is in your backfield, as a team, we're not easy to run on. We are just not easy to run on. I think Fatukasi, I think Franklin Myers. I think just especially what it is that we saw with C.J. Mosley last season, almost going to jail for murder on the goal line last week.
I love that.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you right now, I've watched that. If I've seen anything in that game multiple, it was that hit. So, look, 3 keys again. We need LaFleur to get himself together. We need the offense to solidify. We need to make sure that again, we run the ball effectively. So I don't know if that's a combination thing, but if we're going to separate them, the difference in play calling has to be apparent. And then the defense and the expectation is that the defense is not going to change. I think maybe Marcus May's absence may impact a little bit what it is that we do. But if all works well, we're going to actually have an opportunity to maybe lay some questions about what Ashton Davis is going to bring to the table. We'll be able to lay those to bed because we're going to actually get a chance to see him play next week also. So I'm excited about that. I
think this is a sink or swim for Ashton Davis because you're now taking over the primary role with just a bunch of injury holes at safety right now. That's definitely, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Marcus May a little later, but show us why you're here, Ashton. Show us why, and this is a big one for Joe Douglas as well, because
huge.
He picked this guy specifically for a reason. Especially when you come out and you say, I picked BPA.
Yeah.
In that
fourth round. Yeah.
When you say I picked BPA, you better show what made you the best player at that particular spot.
He was a great athlete, right? It was an athlete. He was an athlete and not necessarily player athlete though, right? At that time, because that's what I saw.
We didn't need a safety. We needed other stuff.
Yeah,
so this is a sink or swim game. I think Ashton Davis, you have to show up. That's not necessarily one of my keys to victory. My keys to victory, I picture that old Bernie Sanders campaign ad meme. Once again, asking you for your support. I'm picturing that. And I'm looking at our defense. I'm looking at you, defensive line, as Bernie Sanders. I am once again asking for your support.
Okay.
We need you to stop Derrick Henry, man. This guy. Running backs like Barry Sanders, running backs like Emmitt Smith, running backs like, I can't even, all the old greats.
Yeah,
right?
Earl Campbell specifically. And speaking of Titans, right?
There's a handful of running backs that have 3 200-yard games in their careers. Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders. I want to say Jerome Bettis, but I don't think so. I think it's
Eric Dickerson.
That was him. That was him. So Eric Dickerson, those are like the 3 that jump out. Have 3 200-yard games in their entire career, and the NFL back then was more run heavy.
Yeah,
and Derrick Henry has 3 in 2020. So that's insane, and I think that, and he's doing that against defenses that he shouldn't be doing that on.
Exactly.
So.
Man,
he's King Henry for a reason.
If he continues on this pace, first ballot Hall of Famer, no question.
Absolutely. You can't. If he continues on this pace, he's going to be the NFL leading rusher within the next 5 or 6 years.
Most definitely.
So, if that long, I'd have to look at his stats. I'll look that up.
It compounds though.
It starts tapering off.
Yeah, sure. Running backs toward the end of their career also. I mean, the fact of the matter is that I don't think he's just a normal running back because of the punishment that he inflicts. But it is difficult to continue to pound the way that he does, and have the type of longevity that he's going to need. But I don't know if anybody can do it, it's him.
Yeah, I mean, he is. Oh my God, he's got 6,200 yards career rushing yards right now. Wasn't used very much in his rookie year in 2016.
How?
Wasn't used very much. I say wasn't used very much. I'm looking at his last 2 years. His last 2 years in 2020, he had 2,027 yards, 378 carries, 17 touchdowns. the year before that in 2019, 303 carries for 1,540 yards, 16 touchdowns. So back in 2016, 2017, when he's running the ball 110 times or 176 times, you're like, he's not being used enough. So,
give it to him every play. Like, you can't stop.
I mean, God, we're going into week 4. He's already carried 80 times.
80. That's the expectation. You look, how often do they win when he carries 20 plus times? Quite a bit, actually.
Would you stop, Arlo? Just sitting there whining. Stop it. Stop it.
Arlo's like, I need a beer, man.
He does, man.
Give me a beer, man. What are you doing?
So I think first and foremost, the number one thing is you got to contain Derrick Henry. You got to shut him down as much as Derrick Henry can be shut down.
Yeah.
We, as you said, Kev, we proved it that we can contain. You know, we can bend but not break against Christian McCaffrey. We held him to below 100 yards, and that's not hard, not easy to do.
No, it's not.
We also held him below 100 yards receiving, which is not easy.
Which is also again, yeah.
And he got in the end zone 0 times. So that's containment in my book, and that's something I think, you know, if Derrick Henry, even though if he doesn't get into the end zone, I'm perfectly happy with him getting 400 yards rushing as long as he doesn't score. That's all.
Exactly. You know? Look, pad your fantasy stats, but not with a touchdown.
Yeah, definitely. I need those yards. We get the bonus.
Right.
It's so great. The league I have him in, the bonus, we get 25-point bonus if they get 125 rushing yards. Derrick Henry's a cheat code now.
Yeah, he is.
So
like Tecmo Payton.
Yeah. So defense, I gotta say, I need my second key to victory is I need Zach Wilson to put everything that's happened behind him thus far. You need to just shut it out. Even the good things, man. Even the good things. Just go out and take it play by play. Be systematic. Watch your reads. Throw the ball when you need to throw the ball. Run the ball when you need to run the ball. Move it forward. Just move the chains. Be intermediate and check down if you have to. I don't care. Just build up some numbers, build up some forward progress, and let's start making this stuff automatic.
Exactly.
You start getting into the point where you're automatic on a check down that gets you 5 or 6 yards, then all of a sudden you're starting to be automatic on a 10-yard in route that getting you a first down every time. That's when you open it up. That's when you can take the head off. And with Mims coming back, that'll be I'm not even going to touch the offensive line because we know what the offensive line has to do. Yeah. And we know what the coaching staff has to do with one particular offensive lineman.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll go into a little depth about that a little bit too. But man, that's bad.
But we all know that that's been an atrocious thing with some backbiting comments from a specific guy that needs to just shut up. But I want to say Denzel Mims is my third key to victory. Ooh. Because he is going into.
I'm not mad at that.
Just it's dogs, man.
It's taking over.
Denzel Mims. There's been a lot of like conspiracy theory and stuff going on, and it's really people are just making it out to be a lot more than it really is. The fact of the matter is the kid's behind. He's never had a camp. No. He was drafted in the COVID year. He was sick all through camp and OTAs this year. He's just never had a camp. It's a brand new playbook that is triple what.
Yeah, what he was in college. I was just here to make that point. Baylor's system was extremely simple, right? And him being as physically, more talented than most of the competition that they faced, he never had to do what it is that he's being able to ask to do now. And he's behind. Period. Point blank. But I will say this again. A little bit more of a failure on the coaching staff as well for not, at least putting in the work to allow him to be able to contribute on even some plays. Like, all right, let's learn these 5 plays, right? And let's perfect these 5 plays. Okay, on these 5 plays, you can, learn everything that you need to learn about it, and then when it comes time for us to run these, we'll make some we'll make some opportunities for you as we run those plays. I will also say this, and this is something that I think maybe is being overlooked a little bit. And I kind of kicked this stat out a while back. Denzel Mims played over 20% of his snaps in the slot as a rookie, right? And him not being able to, be the big slot, that's a little sketchy for me because I'm sure it's familiar for him, right? I'm sure it's familiar for him, and it also creates the types of mismatch that we cannot afford to not use, right? We have to be able to make or we have to be able to create situations for these uber talented young guys to be able to make plays and build confidence, right? That's exactly what it is that we need. And with the way that Corey Davis is playing these last few weeks, anyway, come on, man. I look, I'd give Corey five snaps on the bench if it just meant that we're going to go out and we're going to throw to Denzel Mims, right? I would do that in a heartbeat.
I put him out for one series for every pass he's dropped so far.
Exactly.
That's been a problem for me because and I take that personally because that was my call. Like, I was the one who said, "Dude, it would be awesome if we had Corey Davis."
Yeah. I think he's still gonna to bear out to be the guy that we expected him to be. I think it's just been a perfect storm of crap these past few weeks. Like, the first week Zach plays decent, but we can't stop a nosebleed and it's difficult for us. The second week, Zach, obviously, he one that he regrets, and the one I'm sure he will remember. I'm sure that was a memorable start for him because I don't think he ever has had something as bad, and I'm sure he doesn't want to have it anymore. And then last week, where again we saw Zach, kind of being able to put certain things together, but the team kind of falling off. So we haven't really seen any situation at this point where all kind of aspects of the team game come together. And we have an opportunity this week to see it be a little bit more in line with what it is that we expect.
For sure. And it's like Saleh said about Wilson is was the quote. He's experiencing every bad thing. I'm paraphrasing. He's experiencing every bad thing imaginable right now.
Right now.
But when it clicks, everyone's going to see why he was the number 2 overall pick. And then Becton, shout out to, I forget who tweeted it to him, but Becton responded to this guy.
I think I saw that earlier today. He's like, yeah, I remember. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I think I need to check out.
The kid said something along the lines of, please don't listen to all these Jets haters. He's like, the real fans are still rolling with you guys. And Becton responded, and he goes, we know. And that hit me in the heart right there. He's like, we know. He's like, it's just a matter of us putting it together, but it's going to happen. And I'm totally on board with that. So I'm glad that the players aren't listening to all of these idiots out there that think they know football.
Exactly. That's exactly what we want to hear from them, right? And who else was it? I think that was saying earlier, like, and I think this was this Michael Carter talking about how the players want the fans to believe that the players want to win, right? We want to win. This is not just about, if you guys are pissed off because we haven't been playing well or whatever. It's unacceptable to us. This is something that we want to change. This is something that we, internally are looking at and saying is unacceptable, and they're going to do what it is that they need to get better. Now, again, as Jets fans, we've heard guys say the thing that you expect them to hear. We've heard that quite a bit. I just feel like this is a different breed of player that's saying it. It's not the same guys. It's not the same, guy that's already been on his second or third contract, who's already got, a few $100 million in the bank and he's good to go from there. That's not what it is that we're hearing the young nucleus of what our expectation is going to be a good team going forward, saying, we want to be good for you. We want to be good for ourselves. We just want to be good. And this is unacceptable, and we're going to fix it. Boom. I love it.
Well, moving into what will, I think, be the biggest thing to help the Jets win. Week 4 inactives.
Yes.
on both sides of the ball, we don't like seeing Elijah Moore.
Yeah,
But if we're being honest,
I saw that play too when he got the concussion. I saw it happen.
yeah, if we're being honest, this week 4 inactive list could be a lot worse for the New York Jets. It really could be. So it does appear that the injury bug is kind of taking bites out of other teams rather than the Jets this year.
Or at
But
least
it
this
looks
week.
like,
This
yeah,
week.
at least this week. But it looks like, and this is also funny because there's a name on this list that everybody was like, get him. So AJ Brown and Julio Jones ruled out. They will not be playing. So they're already number 1 and number 2 receivers gone, and I think that's gonna put 90% of the workload on Derrick Henry. But the other name on this list, I mean, you have Laurel Murchison. Don't know much about him, but rookie Caleb Farley, another one that this name everybody was like, just get him, just draft him, draft Caleb Farley. And then you have the cornerbacks that analyze this stuff going, wait.
Yeah, not him.
Don't
Not him.
don't get Caleb Farley. His leg will probably fall off.
Right? Not him.
So Caleb Farley out. The other one, everybody else, all these other Jets fans, get him. Lino Cortina, I'm going to throw you under the bus here a little bit. Because you were like, we need Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree is out for week 4. I get it though. Bud Dupree I liked him too.
Coming out, he was all right. He just never played well on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Or at least not well enough.
Well, decent numbers, but it's just one of those single year spikes, but he just couldn't stay healthy. So just the injury bugs got him. But yeah, us with Elijah Moore, Marcus May, Jeff Smith. Again, like I said, with those 3 names, it could be worse. We always want to see our rookie. I always want to see Elijah Moore on the field as much as possible. But I guess
to this point, I'm just going to be honest. I bought the jersey because I bought into the hype, and I still do believe that the kid's going to be good. I think that. Again, and I touched upon this when we were talking about my 3 must kind of things. We need to see Mike LaFleur be more dynamic than what it is that he's been. And that may be predicated on what the offensive line does and how solid they can actually be. But I'm gonna be honest with you, we have playmakers for a reason. And yes, to an extent. Zach needs to get the ball out quicker, but the problem is that how can you get it out quicker if there's nobody open?
How can you get it out quicker than 1.7 seconds from the snap?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the average.
That's like a 1-step drop. 2-step drop.
That's the average, Mr. Van Roten. Zach needs to learn how to get the ball out faster than 1.7 seconds.
Greg Van Roten, if you're watching this show, shut the hell up, man. It's especially as a Long Island. I'm a Long Island boy too.
Your
man.
lane.
Yeah, man. What are you doing? What are you saying? And I know some folks will say, "Oh yeah, it was taken out of." No, it wasn't taken out of context. You shouldn't have said it. That is not something that should come out of your mouth when you are consistently behind the running backs every day.
Quarterback.
Yeah, you're getting pushed in the backfield like a rag doll. Shut the hell up and get longer cleats because you obviously aren't digging in deep enough to be able to maintain some leverage. Let's get it together.
So looking at the Titans depth chart.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds is out. So I mean they're yeah. Wow.
They have AJ Brown, Julio Jones gone, so they're looking at Josh Reynolds is out.
Mm-hmm. Their whole wide receiver core.
Chester Rogers, Nick Westbrook, Ikine.
Yeah, Westbrook, Ikine, or Ikine, like that. I think I've heard it said a couple different ways. I think.
So Chester Rogers, Nick Westbrook, Ikine, Cameron Batson, and rookie Racy McMath.
That's a long list. Derek Roberson and linebackers. Yeah. Derek Roberson and linebackers out. Anthony Firkser, the tight end, is out, which that gives a little bit of a respite to the linebackers. Kyrie Blasingame, the fullback, is out. That maybe weakens what it is that they're going to want to do with pushing Derrick Henry to run 40 times this game. One of his key blockers is no longer playing this week. So
yeah.
Again, opportune time for this. I hope it doesn't come down to the possibility of the Jets winning this game, and then all of these couch GMs are going to come back and be like, oh yeah, well, so what? Yeah, look, we beat them without such and such or whatever. A win's a win, dude. Again,
Win is a win at this level.
again. Yeah, shut up. Let's go.
The fact of the matter is I need Zach Wilson to actually do something against this defense. When you're going against cornerbacks that are named Christian Fulton and Jack Rabbit Jenkins.
Who? Oh, Janoris. That's right. That he was a scrub on the Giants.
Is it Janoris? Because Tennessee Titans roster legit says Jack Rabbit Jenkins.
That's who he wants to be. He doesn't want to be known as Janoris because Janoris sucked for the Giants. So yeah, let's
change his name to Jack Rabbit.
Let's hide behind that, right? Yeah, he was bad.
Oh my God, Elijah Molden, third string. If you have an Elijah Molden as a third string corner, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, obviously. But the fact of the matter is that again, that's a lot of names. Again, only 3 names for us. I guess the difficulty is that our tight ends are still going to be bad. So how does that affect what it is that we do? We are still again short at the wide receiver core, and unless they are going to trust Denzel Mims to play the game and maybe go his direction like we would expect or hope that they would. We'll see how it shakes out.
What is there to lose at this point? I mean, we're 0-3. You go 0-4. Only one team has ever made the playoffs after going 0-4.
Yeah, playoffs not being the expectation for us. 0-4 still totally sucks. Yeah, 0-4 still sucks.
My point.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. My point being, we know that playoffs aren't really a thing right now. But like, if you're obviously the objective of every team is to hit the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Why not cut it loose? Just go out there and play backyard football.
Yeah. Look, we feel like we feel like at this point in time we're not going to play conservative. We're just going to play balls out, and we're going to give it a shot. And you know what? Let me just touch upon this and then we'll move on because this may be a real tangent. But when you say just kind of letting it go, taking that field goal off the board last week. After Amendola displayed huge leg in making that kick. I mean, it's not like it wasn't close. It's not like it was, that would give you pause as if he would be able to make it. Even with the 5-yard penalty, I would have let him kick it again.
Do it again. Why not?
The guy
you got shut out anyway.
The guy has a monster leg, though. I mean, think about that. It was already a 50-some-odd yard field goal, and it was halfway up the uprights.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I would let him kick it again.
I agree. I mean, you got shut out anyway. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, right.
And that's at that point. I just think like that's where we're at right now. Is just go out and make this thing. Just do something.
That's it.
Try something. Do something you wouldn't normally do. Why not?
You are a fax machine tonight, sir. Facts.
Hey, let Amendola kick a 67-yard field goal. Take that, Justin Tucker.
Look, the way that kick went through, I don't know, man. I think it's within his range. I really do.
I agree. I think he can do it. And I mean, not for nothing, but he does. He looks like a Greek god.
I'm saying. Look, I said this early in the season, and I'm just going to reiterate this because I still feel like even more now. I'm going to be honest. Even more now. I felt like we were going to be able to score a lot of points, and I thought that to compound what our offense would score, I'm thinking that Amendola himself is a weapon that needs to be released. If we're going to have difficulty in scoring touchdowns, we should kick every single field goal. The guy can make it from all over. The guy can make it from deep. I don't have any doubt about that. If I am Come on now, the special teams coach. Come on now,
Brett Boyer.
Brent Boyer. Excuse me. If I'm Brent Boyer, I'm lobbying Robert Saleh. If we get close to the 50-yard line, let him kick it.
Yeah.
Let him kick it.
I would be too. I'm like, I would be in Salah's ear. We can make that.
Yeah,
we can make that.
Let's do it. Look,
We'll put points on the board.
Show some balls. Show some balls. Let's get this 3 and let's come back on defense. Let's do it now.
I mean, it also, that statement right there, kicking those deep field goals, it tells your special teams that you trust them.
Yeah.
It tells your kicker that you trust them, but it tells your defense that you trust them to hold in case something goes wrong.
Exactly.
Our defense can.
We're going to put these points up. We're going to play the field position game. We're going to give you guys an opportunity to get us the ball back. Let's go.
I completely agree. On that note, I can't stand it anymore. I need to hear who's in the spotlight with Kevin Jackson.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, the white hot spotlight is now in effect. I'm because we're doing things a little different tonight. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and I want to do this because I think as fans, we're kind of turning the corner, and I'm not talking about the guys that are falling off the cliff, talking about how bad this team is and how horrible it's going to be and all of this and all of that, whatever. I'm talking about the people who really are paying attention to what's going on the field and saying and recognizing that there are very small things that we need to do in order to be successful, right? I mean, they might seem like large things in the grand scheme, but in this, they're not. In the spotlight this week, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Feeney. Hear me out, right? The reason why Dan Feeney is in the spotlight this week is because we're having difficulties with our center. We're having difficulties with our right guard. We've seen in the news just recently Greg Van Roten making the statements that the bonehead statements. Let me make sure that I clarify that the bonehead statements that Feeney was making about this team and about this organization and about our rookie quarterback in particular. The difficulty that I'm having right now is that we cannot expect Greg Van Roten to be who it is that we are relying upon to keep Zach Wilson safe. It is not going to work. And Dan Feeney is our primary backup, not just at right guard. He is also our primary backup at center, which is even more difficult because McGovern has played as poorly as he's played. Dan Feeney's the guy, right? And Dan Feeney is the guy who at this point in time is our only safety net for what it is that we're going to be able to do at either position going forward. Okay. So look, the reason why Dan Feeney's in is because this just kind of goes to show Joe Douglas has some more work to do with regards to the offensive line, but this is the guy who might quite possibly have to step in and maybe be responsible for saving Zach Wilson's life. This week, ladies and gentlemen, I need to know what it is that you guys think. Dan Feeney's in the spotlight, but he's only in the spotlight because he has to overshadow these knucklehead people that we have playing right now. And I'm not even sure he's going to be an upgrade, but that's what's left. In the spotlight, what are we doing?
It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to have such hype around the O-line that has been touted as being a massive upgrade, and it really has. To be it's kind of smacked in the face with the reality of how the O-line has been it's tough to take. It's pretty tough to take, but I mean, I think at this, like kind of from the previous segment, Kev, at this point, make a change, do something that works.
We're going to have to do something specific because what it is that we're looking at with this guy right now, Dan Feeney's a scrub. All right, let's just.
He's not a starter, no.
Yeah, no. Let's just keep this in perspective. Dan Feeney is not a really good football player, and we've seen him be bad at multiple positions. The fact of the matter is that the reason why he's on the team right now is because he plays multiple positions, and as of right now, even if it is just to spell for one game, how much worse could it be than what it is that we've seen from Greg Van Roten? Come on.
That's the point.
Come on.
Exactly.
Just just imagine, Feeney is already a fan favorite, right? Folks love the mullet. They like the crushing the beer cans and the whole thing. Just imagine if he comes in and he plays well.
Yeah.
He's a legend. He's a legend here. I'd say give him a shot. That's what I say.
Do it. I don't appreciate Greg Van Roten, number one, being our union rep, and then throwing Zach under the bus like he did was absolutely ridiculous, unprofessional, and it was not something that a teammate is supposed to do.
Absolutely.
I just, the fact of the matter is that is such a blatant case of shifting blame. Like, you're the O-line, okay? Going in as an O-line player, that everything rides or dies on you guys.
Facts.
Offense or defense. It starts and ends in the trenches. We all know that. It's a time-honored tradition of football. Is the trenches make or break the game. So when you're in that position, and you've been in the league for this long, and you've had a fairly decent career. He's not a Hall of Famer by any stretch of the imagination,
he's not even really good.
He's not
he's not even really
He's
good.
not like a top 10 at your position. I'd say he's probably in the 20 to 25 range at his position.
Let's do that.
And I'm being nice, unlike him, to Zach. I'm being nice to Van Roten right now.
Oh, God, come on, man.
But how are you going to sit there and go to the media, throw your rookie quarterback under the bus, who is being pressured so hard that he has 1.7 seconds to throw the ball, and then be telling the media that he needs to learn to get the ball out faster? There's something wrong with your mindset and with your comprehension of what this game is about and what your role in this game is.
Get through all of your reads in 2 seconds, young man.
If I was Saleh or the O-line coach,
ripping him,
dragging.
Look, Benton should quite possibly have not only Greg Van Roten, but he should probably also have Connor McGovern in the camo clutch this week in practice, because of that little tweet response that he kicked out of about the missed assignment and all of that. First and foremost, it's difficult to say that, because we don't really know what it was. And again, he'll come in and say, yeah, you guys don't know what you're talking about. But even if what it is that you said was true, don't you have some responsibility for why it is that it worked out the way that it did?
Mm-hmm.
You do. Because I know they're not allowing Zach Wilson, who is a rookie, not really seeing any of this. I know they're not allowing him to call protections at the line. I just don't believe it. And if his role, exactly. Look, when all of the quarterbacks talked about how Nick Mangold was invaluable for what it is that he did at the line of scrimmage, not only being and y'all know I hate the term safety blanket. I cannot stand the term safety blanket. These are grown ass men. There's no such thing as a safety blanket. Yeah, well, you're gonna give him a binky. If you're gonna give somebody a binky, give him a 200-yard running back. You know what I'm saying? Give him Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry could be my binky whenever he wants to be.
Yeah,
right?
hell yeah.
Because that's what you want if you're talking about giving somebody some sort of safety.
I would take a Derrick Henry on the downward slope of his career.
I'm gonna tell you right now that guy. And look, and I know we're gonna discuss this again, and not to get too far off the topic, but Derrick Henry is a problem. And if we're going to expect to win, part of the reason why I say what it is that I said about our three must-haves is because that guy is a problem.
Yeah.
We need to contain him.
Yeah. And we need to keep him off the field. Like, that's the game plan's got to change.
Yeah. Again, we can't lose the time of possession the way that we have over the course of these past couple of weeks.
Right.
All right.
Nope.
So now
I think we're going to front office.
Let's go to the front office. I love the front office, man. This is one of my favorite spots. Look, Jimmy Jardine does an outstanding job with not only bringing to the forefront, things that may not necessarily just be the most, readily available to the common fan, but he does it with intelligence. He does it with facts. He does it with information. And I'll be honest with you, I am thankful that he's on here doing it with us. Let's right now transition from the spotlight. We're going to turn that spotlight and we're going to turn it on the front door of the office. Let's go.
All right, guys. Well, today in the front office, we're bringing Marcus May in here because there are the Jets have been mired in conspiracy theory for the last several weeks. A lot of it about Denzel Mims, a lot of it about Jamison Crowder. But Marcus May comes in at this point. Now, I remember speaking on this a little bit. I did want May to get paid. I'm not walking that back at all. But after the franchise tag, I have always said that the franchise tag is the beginning of the end of the player-team relationship. It's just the way it is. Because a franchise tag is a team-friendly thing, which I agree with. There needs to be team protections in there. But players hate it. They absolutely hate it because it is team-friendly. They do get a full guaranteed contract, but it's for 1 year. They don't get any sort of clauses that they can put in. The franchise tag is what it is. The wording is already there. This led me to believe that with Joe Douglas being seemingly unwilling to pay Marcus May, and there is a reason for that as well, it led me to believe that the franchise tag was a way to keep the dollar value on him, as well as a contract on him for potential trade bait towards the trade deadline, November 3rd, by the way. Yeah. I think that is something that's still in play. So Marcus May being in the front office means that we need to start talking about what potentially he brings as far as value. He's not young, even though he's still on his rookie deal. He's not young. So I think 28, 29 at this point.
Yeah.
But I still think that Marcus May brings a draft capital value of probably a third-round pick. I know people might hate me for that. But I think just being in the third-round pick with the franchise tag is, at this particular moment, the Jets have already taken care of a portion of that. So the remainder of a franchise tag to get Marcus May, that's definitely enticing for some teams that are probably hurting a little bit in the secondary. Yeah. I don't think the injury is there. I've watched every snap, and I don't. There could be some discomfort from some of the stuff that I've seen, but I don't believe that there's a multi-week injury resulting in them saying Marcus May's out 3 to 4 weeks. I saw nothing, and I'm no doctor, but I saw nothing that was that severe to cause something like that. And again, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I just think this is a way for the Jets to keep Marcus May healthy and valuable for the trade deadline, and that is going to be the front office. I wanted to keep this short as well because I want to roundtable this with you, Kevin, and see what you think. So there we go.
Look, once again, my man, you're bringing to the forefront, I think, something that maybe folks have been hinting at, or maybe have discussed in side conversations, but this is now a reality. You and I, and again, I think we agreed that we should pay him. I felt like he earned a contract from us. I also felt like Joe Douglas has an opportunity with this situation to maybe change the narrative about what people see in our front office and how it is that we deal with our players, especially when it comes to second contracts after they've already performed here, right? And we're looking at Marcus May, and we can't say that Marcus May hasn't performed. He's been one of our best defensive players literally since he came back from that injury through the first and second seasons. So, look, the fact of the matter is, Marcus may actually be worth $13-14 million a season. Were it me, I would have given him that contract just because I want to make it clear. As an organization, we have turned the corner, and now what it is that we're going to do is we are going to take care of our own. Instead of slapping band-aids on stuff and going and search, free agency to bring in a guy that's 900 years old and wants 50 million, and we give it to him and he sucks, which has really been the case.
Tremaine Johnson.
Yeah, please. But realistically, if that third round pick kind of holds true, I'm not sure Joe Douglas has. I'm not sure he has an out. I think he has to do that, right? Because now what it is that you're talking about is you're talking about having 8 picks in the first 4 rounds. And you can actually bring in a younger, maybe a more athletically gifted safety that would just need the time to develop within the system. And because we're already a young and developing team, I think it may actually fit. But what that does is, again, it pushes back our timetable for continuity. That's the catch-22 in this. I love Marcus May. I really do. I think that the guy's a beast. I think he's a stud. I think not only has he demonstrated that he is capable on the field, but he has already been a vocal and very prominent leader in that locker room. And with the change that we are talking about, we needed in culture and player personnel responsibility and holding each other accountable. I think that factors into why it is that you pay him. If they're not going to pay him, the only way I say that we don't is if somebody does wow us, give us a 3rd round pick, but then you figure you give up a 3rd round pick and you're going to have to pay him $14 million. So that team has to already be established. It has to be in a position to not only give up the pick, but also to be able to translate that into giving him a contract going forward. It's difficult to see who that would be. You know what? I think that was the question I wanted to ask. Are there any teams really that even fits right now? Like who would we be? Who would it be that we would actually even be looking to trade Marcus May to, that would be able to not only accommodate the pick but also pay him?
Ironically, Tennessee.
Ooh. Yeah, well, I mean, they're struggling right?
That's.
You know what?
Why is it all of a sudden? Because Tennessee is hurting in the defensive secondary, man. They're hurting.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, right before we play Tennessee, Marcus May is injured for 4 weeks till the trade deadline.
They're pulling the Jamison Crowder. They don't want to get him hurt before they trade him. They want to get him hurt before they trade him. I think he's out. I'll just be honest. I think he's out. I think both Marcus May and Jamison Crowder are going to fetch draft picks. And again, we're going to go into next season probably starting more rookies than any other team in the league.
Well, you don't let a player like that walk for nothing.
Can't.
So you gotta. That's why the contract restructure for Jamison Crowder was such a big deal. He's still getting his $10 million. People don't understand the contract. I think I've addressed that enough, so I'm not.
We've discussed that a few times. I know. If you don't know it by now, you're not paying attention.
No, and I just ultimately it just comes down to what I've been saying forever is I love these guys. I love Jamison Crowder. I love Marcus May. I'm really glad that they're on our team. But at the end of the day, I'm a Jets fan before I'm a Marcus May fan or a Jamison Crowder fan.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want what's best for the team. And I know that building through the draft is the way to build a team. So, and we have a GM, and I don't care what anybody says about Joe Douglas. People are already knocking Joe Douglas's 2020 draft. Are you kidding me? Like, get out. Yeah, you just have no idea. That's why you don't work for an NFL team if you're criticizing a 1-year-old draft class, a COVID draft class.
Struggling as a fan base right now. With
what are you even talking about? Right. But I just think that, as I was saying, like for May, I wanted him to. The fan in me wants him to get paid. He has earned it. You're absolutely right. He's been a leader on this team. He's never complained. He's never thrown anybody under the bus, with the exception of Greg Williams on the cover zero. But at that point, we were just like, Jesus.
But and you have to point to that and say, where's the lie, right?
I agree. I mean, he's like fact check true on that one. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is where it's a lot of it. You can think of it as the same reason with Sam Darnold, why Sam Darnold was traded. Okay, a lot of it is the same thing, right? So Sam Darnold was nowhere near the timeline that our GM and new coach would be on, and it was too high of a risk to go with his fifth-year option contract extension, because then you're stuck for the next foreseeable years, 3, 4, 5 years, with somebody that probably isn't going to do what we want him to do.
Exactly. And mind you, again, about to be on the wrong side of 30, right? Because the kid, he's 29 years old now.
Now Marcus May in that mindset of, you have to think of what we're looking at and where the team is at. So that's the comparison with that and Sam Darnold. So Marcus May, yes, look at all the teams that are paying their safeties right now, with the exception of Seattle, because Seattle is just led by a bunch of morons that want to give Jamal Adams $17.5 million.
I say go ahead and tank so we can get that pick. That's what I'm talking about.
100% okay with that. But all of these teams that are paying their safety already have their edge locked up. They already have their quarterback either on a rookie deal or locked up. They already have their wide receiver locked up. They already have their left tackle locked up.
Yes.
Then they pay the safety. You don't put the apple cart ahead of the horse and pay your safety when you have Quinnen Williams coming up, when you have like, fortunately we're so young, like,
we don't have a lot pressing right now, but
that contract is coming up, and you're gonna pay Quinnen Williams.
Oh yes.
So that's why I put Marcus May in the front office, is because he's gonna want the deal. He deserves the deal, but
can't give it to him.
Isn't at the position where they can do it. They just can't.
It's an unfortunate situation, because I think, again, it does have ramifications beyond what goes on the field. Again, the conversation turns to, we can't re-sign, or we don't re-sign guys. We don't pay guys that perform here. And you know that, I think it, again, we were talking about this before, and I said this is not the situation to judge that on,
right?
Because Marcus May is in a unique situation. The guy has played well. But I mean, now you figure he's going to be on AARP within the next few years, and do you want to give a guy like that, $40 million? I don't know.
I would have at the beginning of the year, but
if they were so determined to ensure that not only that they locked him up, but that again they're worrying about perception, which they shouldn't, right? If you're worried about the perception of that, then you go ahead and you extend them. You front load the contract as much as you can.
Definitely.
All the guarantees are paid out, 2022, and after 2022, whatever. If he's not playing well, or we can release him, or we can try to restructure, we can try to do something at that point. But
you do what Jerry Jones did for Dak Prescott. You put a couple voidable years at the end of your contract. You pay it off in the first 2-3 years, and then you're set, and you can give the safety what he wanted, and then you also are ready to go for Quinnen Williams.
Exactly.
You're going to be ready to go for Zach Wilson. If they just front load these contracts and stagger this thing, it's going to be fine. Now watch, everybody's talking about Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas didn't draft Quinnen Williams. Now watch, if Joe Douglas gives Quinnen the contract, that is going to speak volumes for what kind of a GM he is. That means he cares just about the talent
and not
the
about
player,
who.
Not about who got him there.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big one. But I think that's why Marcus May and Jamison Crowder are kind of.
I will also say that if Joe Douglas is smart the way that I am hoping and praying that he is, because I'm not going to say expect anymore when it comes to this. If he is who it is that we hope that he is, the reason why he may not be wanting to pay Marcus May is because he is already planning on paying Quinnen Williams.
Sure.
Planning.
And then you got another 2023. You got to think we have 2023 coming up. So Becton's going to want his extension.
Well, he's good. Well, you know what? Can we say he's earned it at this point? I mean, he's good. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, look, as much as I can't say that Mekhi Becton isn't this monster guy and well worth what it is that that we paid to get him, and what it is that I think folks are going to expect that we should pay him going forward, I don't know. There are still some questions. The injury thing is difficult. I'm not going to talk about weight because I don't think that the weight is an issue. I think as a football player playing a violent sport, and if you saw how he got injured, it wasn't that, he just would, just had something jump up and bite him. He got rolled up on.
Yeah.
I've had my leg rolled up on it and missed the game, right? So, I mean, I get it. And I didn't have any problems with my weight. I didn't have any problems with strength. I just had a problem with a 300-pound guy falling on my leg at an awkward ankle, and that hurt bad. You know what I'm saying? So,
I had a kid spear me, and he hit me right where the thigh pad ends, in between where the knee pad begins.
It was
black. Just the crown of the helmet, and it actually compressed the muscle.
I was just going to say, that just made my leg cramp.
It compressed the muscle, and there was so much force in it that it chipped a piece of my femur off, and it sliced the muscle underneath and got lodged under my kneecap.
What?
So the surgery, they had to remove the piece of bone. So the surgery had to disconnect my whole knee and pull the bone. Now that was before all the newfangled. Y'all got nice knee.
Yeah.
We didn't have nice knee surgeries back then.
Yeah, they were doing that.
So I had 3 Division I schools right after that surgery, not even called. They just sent letters saying, "Sorry, buddy."
Yeah, sorry. Like, yeah, but to say they're using lasers nowadays. We had butter knives back when
I was it's all Star Trek now.
You know what I'm saying?
Before they had a giant scalpel and a saw, and they just cut everything open. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
get out.
Needle nose, right?
Back together.
Yeah, let me get the needle nose real quick. We'll get this thing out of here.
Man,
wow, that's crazy.
That's the way that happened.
Yeah.
But I think what we'll jump into some final thoughts. We are coming up against it here. We got about 10 minutes or so.
That's what's up.
Kev.
Yeah.
Hit me with some final thoughts, my friend.
You know what? Again, Jim, you and I, we began the season, really on a high note, right? Both of us had, and I'm just going to be honest, I think we still do to a certain extent. We have high expectations for how we're going to finish, right? I will revise the 10 wins and all of that. Obviously, I think that my expectation was that we would already have multiple victories. I'm not going to say we won them all, but I was going to say I thought that we would have been no less than 2-1, and going into the game at Tennessee with the possibility of maybe playing a really tough game, only to go to London to beat the brakes off the Falcons at 9:30 in the morning. And I'm just going to be honest, this week, I'm going to ease up a little bit. I believe we're going to be competitive. I believe that we're going to maybe start to dispel some of the negative things that we've seen over the course of the last few weeks. And we're going to actually start putting things together so that our fan base and the team and the players in particular can relax a little bit and focus on just, playing ball and getting better. I still believe, and me living in Georgia, I still believe that the Falcons are going to get it. They're going to get the business. We are going to go to London. And my man, Gus Toon, who's out there in London, Gus, we follow you on Twitter, my guy. I believe that he's going to be able to celebrate a Jets victory that entire week after that, because I really do feel like that's what I believe, that at that point in time, we're going to have already shown enough of what it is that we need. I think Zach is going to settle down a little bit. I think there may be some necessary transitions to the offensive line that is going to give some time. I know we're looking at another 3-4 weeks for Mekhi Becton. Is that right? Was it 6 weeks? I think they said initially 4 to 6.
4 to 6. I think we're.
Yeah, we're this is week 2 now coming up to okay.
We got the bye after London, so.
Well, okay, well, yeah, so then we'll have time. But then coming after the bye, Patriots.
Time to revenge
exactly.
Game.
And you know what? By then, I think I think we'll, barring any unforeseen injuries, I think we'll be in much better shape. I mean, I think we'll be in much better headspace. What's up? What's up with that?
I sent you that meme that I was talking about on WhatsApp.
I need to look.
It goes into what we're talking about.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Definitely check that out.
That's funny. Okay. All right. So, yeah, Mac Jones is a bum, dude. Look, I'm not a Mac Jones fan at all. Ew. Yeah. if you guys haven't already seen that, I'm gonna try to maintain some professionalism, but that shit is funny. Hold up.
I gotta do this.
His face, I can't. His
Here,
face.
let me.
Okay, yeah,
let me,
show it. This is my final thought.
let me share. I'm only working on one monitor, so bear with me.
No,
Just
you're good. And
guys.
yeah, if you guys see me, I got everything all over the place here. Look, just to kind of keep some continuity while Jim pulls this up. Um, over the course of the next few weeks, the bye week and all of that, we're going to see some things change. So I mean, we're going to see what goes on with. I can't. Oh man, he just looks like he's like, Mom. Yeah,
Don't
look.
touch me.
Every, every everybody's loving Mac Jones right now, and this is what it is that we got to work with. Okay, yeah, I know we're coming up against. Let me remain focused. Excuse me. Yeah, we've got a lot of question marks, guys, and there is and Jim, I know you're banned on Facebook right now. I'm gonna need you to stop sniping off these weak character Facebook guys. But there is the largest Facebook Jets Facebook group in the world, I think, or something like that. I'm a part of that, and I think it is the largest group of whiny baby men and kind of armchair quarterbacks and toilet bowl GMs, you know what I'm saying, who want to sit on the toilet bowl, taking a dump and tweet out all of their frustrations when they really have no clue about what it is that they're talking about. And again, I get your let me I'm looking directly in I get your frustration. Don't be an idiot. Okay? First and foremost, understand where it is that we are. Rookie everything, basically, right? Coaching staff. I mean, we've even got a young GM. Let's keep that real, because it's not like we hired this guy who's been a lead GM for 20 years. The guy is learning as he goes, and we saw him make some critical mistakes his first year by not addressing the kicker. Now he's addressed the kicker, and there's some other things. He hasn't addressed the tight end. And now we have player personnel issues because we've got some injuries, and the wide receiver core doesn't look good. Or he brought in Tevin Coleman, and Tevin Coleman, who may actually be a serviceable player, isn't necessarily somebody I would want to be the leader in my backfield. And while we're trying to let Michael Carter develop into that, we're trying to allow Ty Johnson to get some reps and get some runs. Even their inexperience as of right now is coming to show. I personally, being a fan, longer than maybe some of you cats have been alive, I understand how difficult it is to ask for patience when we've been so bad for so long. I'm just going to lay it out plain. I think this is the time when we need it most. Point blank, period. My final thoughts: stop with the nonsense. If you really aren't going to add anything to the conversation but gripe and snipe and negativity, shut the hell up and go watch some film. Right? There are guys that do it. Joe Blewett kicks film. I mean, he breaks film down. Luke Grant on Play Like a Jet, yeah. Look, them guys. Look, they break down film. Sabo does it, right? Sabo is still breaking down film.
Sabo and Blewett are
my favorites, right? Those are the guys who I go to. Connor Rogers on the Patreon with the Badlands. Very, very good. Very, very good. And if you guys
Boy Green.
Boy Green is a beast. I was just talking to him the other night with DJ when DJ went live. There are outlets for you to be able to learn a little bit more before you come and you vent nonsense.
Yeah.
And that's my final thought. Let's not vent nonsense. Yes, you can blow off steam and say you're not happy with the way that things are working out, but you cannot say we are done. You cannot say Zach is a bust. The kid hasn't played enough football to be a bust. You can't say we need to fire Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas, while he is new, and while you want to say that this roster is his roster and he has to own, they're talking about what his record is. His record is a reflection of he who I refuse to name ever again being the coach here. Come on, guys. Let's ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, come on, guys. We need to step our game up. And that means learn what it is that you're watching. That's you know what? That'll be my final thought for tonight. Learn what it is that you're watching. And if you don't have anything that you can point to specific and say this is what it is, shut up. That's it.
I completely agree, Kevin. I think I actually made a banner for my final thoughts. My banner, get off Zach's case. Just get off of his case. If you are bailing, and there are people bailing, it's all over the Facebook groups. There are people bailing. Zach isn't the guy. Blah blah blah. As Kevin said, just shut up.
Please
understand what a quarterback does. Understand that Zach Wilson had 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 468 yards passing in his first 2 games. Yeah, but guess what? Peyton Manning also had 490 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions in his first 2 NFL games. Yeah. So understand that this is not Madden 2022. Exactly. Understand that this is a real live sport and that any given Sunday, anything can happen, good or bad, for any or obviously the Chiefs are 1-2. The Chiefs are 1-2. They're 1 game ahead of the Jets, the Chiefs. So what are you worried about with our rookie quarterback?
We should get rid of Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is a bust. He's a bust.
The Chiefs just gave Patrick Mahomes $500 million, and they're 1-2. Just relax.
He's a bust.
Let the game come to him.
He's a bust.
Because like Robert Saleh said, he's dealing with everything wrong right now, but once it clicks, y'all are going to be eating your words. And I have a folder on Facebook called the Jets Haters, and I am saving every comment, every post, every screenshot. So, because I'm going to expose y'all. I'm going to expose y'all the second Zach starts killing it, and everybody's like, I told you he was going to be doing good. Oh, really? No. Well, 3 months ago you said this.
He's a bust.
I'll be there. My final thoughts, get off Zach's case. Just let the game come to him, and everything's going to be just fine. Kev, that's all we got time for tonight. Go ahead and take us out of here, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have been watching another episode of the Weapons Hot Broadcast. Our host, CJD Simone, who's under the weather. Brother, please feel better. My guy, all important. I'm telling you guys right now, Jets by Jimmy, all platforms. Watch the streams, watch the content. My man goes in. One of my favorite outlets for all things Jets. You can reach him at Jets by Jimmy again. YouTube, the YouTube page is popping right now. On basically everything. Unfortunately, not Facebook just yet. We're not gonna we got a little bit of time on that. You can holler at me on Twitter on at Spotty Blackman. I'll just be honest with you. I need you guys to come because I'm sick of all the political tweets that I get in my stuff. So I prefer to talk football. Please come get at me and talk football. It'll be an interesting conversation, I'm sure, because if you don't like my takes, we can go back and forth. We can argue if that's what you want to do, but that's what it's there for. So I'll let you boy. As you can see on the banner, at CNC Jets Factor if you want to get to the Weapons Hot page on Twitter. We also have the Weapons Hot page on Facebook. You can find us and download the app on the Worldwide Sports Network, Radio Network. Our guy Errol Marks and Speedy PD does a great job of putting that stuff together and allowing our content to flow there. Again, you can find that in the Apple Store or the Google Play. You can download the app there. Once again, it was an awesome experience. We thank you guys for being with us. We look forward to being back with you next week and to discuss a win, right? Jim, you got anything else?
I just thank everybody for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. And you guys have a great night. And we'll see you soon.
Peace.
Peace out, everybody.